Good morning, lady bosses. How are you? Tuesday morning, November 10th, 2020. 2020 just isn't stopping, is it? Oh my goodness. I don't know. Makes me scared to say I'll be glad when 2020 is over because who knows what the heck 2021 is going to be like. But anyway, while I'm waiting for some people to jump on, somebody's jumped on. Good morning. Just want to say wherever you are in the world, if it's a beautiful sunny day like it is here in Southeast Pennsylvania, get outside, soak up some vitamin D. We have had the most gorgeous fall, and this is another one of our 70 plus degree days, and it is beautiful. So wherever you are, get out and enjoy some sun. It'll do your body good, your spirit good, all around good thing. Okay, a couple ladies are on, so let's get started. We're talking today about not feeding the drama llama. There's so much drama in the world today. Oh my goodness. I can't. It's hurting my head. It's hurting my heart. Wow, we need to just eliminate some of the drama that's going on. And the reason I want to talk about this, and I hope you didn't look at it and say, that's not me. I'm a peacekeeper. I'm not a drama llama. I hope you tuned in anyway, because I think every one of us is subject to creating drama in a lot of areas of our lives without even realizing it. So you may be contributing to this big picture of unrest and drama and hatred and sadness, and you don't even realize it. So let's dive in a little bit and think about it. So one of the reasons you might think that you're not a drama llama is that maybe your definition of drama causes you to think about some of the crazy reality TV. You think about Bridezilla. You think about the Housewives. You think about some of this totally over the top drama. And that's how you define drama. But there are probably dozens of things you do every day that are little things that you don't even realize that are doing the same thing, that are feeding it in, maybe not the entertaining way, but in a really harmful way. So let's look at it. Let's talk about it a little bit because it can cause a lot of harm, not just for yourself, but anybody who gets sucked into it. So we want to live in a more peaceful world. We want to spread kindness. So let's start with digging in and figuring out how to create less drama. So here are some signs that you might be a drama queen. I never realize it until it comes out of my mouth, but I always feel like Jeff Foxworthy saying, you might be a redneck, but here are some signs that you might be a drama queen if any of these things are common habits for you. One of them, I did some digging. I didn't even think about some of these things, but one of them might be that you tell your friends everything. Now, I am not saying that to say you shouldn't have girlfriends that you can't talk to about all your crap. But if you're constantly telling everybody every little thing and every little detail about what's going on in your life, you just might be the kind of person that enjoys drama and enjoys feeding drama and creating drama. So, when you're going through stuff, it's very important. I know it's important to have somebody to talk to, but it's also important to just sit with it. Just sit with things quietly for a while and think about them and toss them around in your own mind. It's not oh my God, let me go out with all my girls and I got to tell them everything that's going on. It's important to have a couple people you can really trust to talk to about everything. Maybe there's only one person. Maybe that's your therapist. And believe me, that's probably the best place to put these kinds of situations because, face it, they're not going to run around telling everybody. They're going to be objective. They're going to lend you the best support that you can get. So whoa, sorry guys, I just kicked that. Probably made everybody dizzy. Before you just run around and tell everybody everything all the time, just stop and think. And like I said, just take some quiet time to just reflect alone every now and then. Okay, here's another thing. Do you start or are you constantly peppering your conversations with drama? With gossip? Because if you are, then you're creating drama. And listen, it doesn't matter if it's good or bad. It's, at least in my opinion, the way I define it, it's still gossip. even if somebody may have been going through some troubles and, maybe you're tempted to like tell everybody, oh my gosh, did you hear what happened with so-and-so? So-and-so finally called her and it looks like they're going to make peace and this and that. That's great. That's all great news. But is that your story to tell? And is that necessarily the end of the story? Because now you're propagating a story that tomorrow might be totally different. You're still, if you're talking about somebody else's life and what's going on in somebody else's life, whether it's good, whether it's bad, it's gossip. Everything is not your story to tell, whether it's good or bad. So, if you're talking about people a lot, if that's the way you start conversations, if that's the way you pepper your conversations, then maybe you're creating more drama than you realized. So that's another sign that maybe you're creating drama in your life and don't realize it. And listen, the gossiping, it doesn't just hurt them, because depending on what you're saying, you could be destroying somebody's reputation. And that's far reaching because, we are the 5 people we associate with most. If you're in a group of people and you gossip, they probably do too. So how many people is that information going to reach? And what have you done to protect someone or to destroy somebody's credibility? So think about that the next time you want to talk about somebody, good or bad. Another thing that I think creates drama is speculation. Okay? Speculation can be a good thing. Speculation can be a bad thing. Okay? For how long have we been saying to each other, oh my God, I've got to stop kicking that. I'm sorry, ladies. How long have we been asking each other, so who do you think's going to win the election? Okay, we don't know. We're speculating. It could be innocent. It could be an innocent question. But sometimes we feed that speculation like, well, what do you think? What do you think is going to happen when we're a socialist, communist, or communist nation? What do you think is going to happen if, North Korea sends a bomb to the United States? What do you think is going to happen if this virus ends up wiping out the majority of humanity and triggers the zombie apocalypse? Sounds crazy, right? But listen, on all different levels, our speculation about things can trigger conversations that trigger drama, that trigger stress, because now you're thinking, oh my gosh, okay, we're going to have the zombie apocalypse. What are we going to do? Now the government's going to take away all our guns, so now we can't even kill zombies. Okay, I know, I just sounded completely stupid, right? I know, it's stupid, it's silly, it's funny, but this is the reality of what we do when we speculate on all different levels. We take our minds down roads that can create stress, create drama, create all kinds of crap for us and everybody we talk to. So maybe be careful when you're speculating. Maybe be careful about the things you speculate about, because obviously there's a healthy place for speculation, like looking at the market and how you're going to invest in the stock market, whatever. You got to do some speculation sometimes to make intelligent decisions. But just be careful. Be careful when you speculate. Here's one I never thought about, but are you somebody who's always late? Because if you're always late, you're creating drama. Think about the drama you create if you physically go to work in a place and you're always running in 10 minutes late. You're creating drama and stress for everybody you work with, because everybody's got to be picking up and handling your responsibilities when you're not there. And then you're there and now we have to somehow, transfer all this back. You're creating drama for everybody, not to mention for yourself, because is that giving you like a real good reference for a future job or anything else? So this comes to the point that when I was doing a little bit of research, I realized a lot of people who create drama create it because they're very self-centered. And so being late definitely makes you the center of attention. So for some people, creating drama is about making themselves the center of attention. With the gossip, it's like, oh, look at what I know that you don't. With being late, it's like, I'm walking in now. Everybody's looking at me. So whatever it is, think about that too. Are you creating drama to focus attention on yourself? Again, this is just to uncover that, maybe we're all doing it a little bit and don't even realize it. Okay, here's a big one. This is a really, really big one. And that's stirring the pot. And how many times Are people accused of stirring the pot when they had no intention of stirring the pot? They're, exercising their First Amendment rights and freedom of speech. And I'm just saying what I think. I'm not stirring the pot. But for instance, if you're doing it on social media, I've said it once, I've said it before. If you think it's so innocent, just go read the comments. Because if the comments start to have people jumping out on both sides of the fence and arguing, then there's no question you've stirred the pot. So don't say, well, I just said what I felt. Well, if what you're saying is causing drama and causing arguments, then you're stirring the pot. This is what stirring the pot means. Oh my gosh, it's like the person who likes to walk into a room at a party, start talking about something very controversial, and then leave. They just like to come in and like drop a bomb and walk out and then listen to everybody fight about it all night. That's what stirring the pot is. And I don't care how innocent you think you are. If you're causing controversy, you've stirred the pot. So think twice before you do it. You're just doing it. Whether you realize it or not, maybe now you realize it. You're doing it. So stop stirring the pot. And stirring the pot goes right to my next comment, which is making generalizations. Political climate we're in. So many generalizations. Oh, those Democrats are all libtards. Oh, those Republicans are all deplorables. Well, you might be making those comments, and maybe you're not making them so ugly, but, maybe it's, a little less than that. Oh, now are the Democrats going to be doing this? And oh, now are the Republicans going to be doing that? Oh, no. Listen, there are people in your life that are important to you, that are good people, that are people you love, who fall into that generalization you just made. And you might say, yeah, well, they know me, so they know I'm just generalizing. Yeah, well, guess what? They might know that, but your words still sting. So when you make a generalization, people are going to hear it that fall into the category that you're generalizing about. So be careful when you do that. We know there are exceptions to everything, but there's no room to make ugly generalizations about anything, because if you're doing that, you're hurting people you care about. Yeah, hopefully you think you're getting your message out to all the people who do fit that generalization, but there are also people in your life that you care about that are also falling into that same category. And you're being ugly, and you're not being kind to people you care about. So think about that before you make generalizations. And that falls right into the whole stirring the pot thing. Here's another one that, when I think about drama queens again, we think about the Bridezillas and the reality TV. How about just the fact that maybe you don't communicate really well as you should? And I'm sure you all think you do, but how many times do you get angry because your husband didn't read your mind and know that you were having a rough day and he should have brought home some chocolate and flowers? How often do we get upset with people because they don't do something that we really needed them to do? But the bottom line is, you have to turn that around and say, but do they know? Am I expecting people to read my mind? Because a lot of times we are. People aren't mind readers. Men and women will never speak the same language. I don't care what you say. There are men who are more sensitive to a woman's needs and women who are more sensitive to a man's needs, but they're different creatures who think different ways. And just individuals, any one of you and I are not 100% alike, where I always know what you're thinking and you always know what I'm thinking. So if I need something, I have no right to get upset that nobody around me is reading my mind and knows what I need. I have to open my mouth and say what I need. And that might be hard for some of you, and I know it is, but my point is not like, okay, make yourself do something you don't want to do or that doesn't come natural to you. My point is, don't get upset about it. Don't get upset that people can't read your minds. That's not their fault, that's yours. So just own it and stop talking about it or being upset about it. That creates drama. I mean, you know that. Whether it's in a relationship or with friendships, you start getting mad at people for not being able to read your mind. That's big drama that's ruining relationships, and that's not good. So Learn to communicate better, or learn to just not fault people because they don't know what you need because you didn't tell them. Okay, the next one I sort of referenced a little bit earlier, but maybe you hang out with a bunch of drama queens. Again, I just said a couple minutes ago, you are the 5 people you hang with most. If you're going to hang with drama queens, then you're going to be sucked into it every time you're with them, and you're going to be like them. That's just the way it is. So just try and surround yourself more with people who live in peace, people who lift one another up, people who don't want to sit around and gossip. Just look for more of those people in your life, because hey, maybe the drama queens aren't people you can just like not have in your life. You know, it could be your significant other. It could be your family. It could be anybody. But just make it a point in other areas of your life to surround yourself more with people who are more positive. Bunny, I was just reading your comment. Thanks. Here's another one. How hard is it for a lot of women to not face their own problems? And so because you don't want to look in the mirror, you don't want to face the things that are wrong with you, it's a whole lot easier to deflect and sit and gossip about Sally. And you know what? If anybody in this group is named Sally, I really apologize, because every time I make up a fictional gal, it's Sally or Susie. I don't know why. And I'm not saying bad things about her, just, it's always my go-to, because I don't really know too many Sallys or Susies, so nobody can say, oh, you were talking about me, right? Anyway, yeah, it's a whole lot easier to talk about Sally's problems or Sally's lousy marriage or what a crappy mom she is than look at the fact that maybe I have fallen short in a lot of those areas. And it's a whole lot easier to talk about her than to face my issues. But obviously, I don't even have to tell you what's the better choice of the two. Better choice of the two is spend every day being a little better than you were the day before. Look in the mirror, work on you. You don't have to talk about Sally. And then one of the final things, and again, these kind of all tie together, but the making up stories in your head. I had a whole training on that once. And this is what propelled me to talk about this today, because a while ago, I just saw some people talking about an organization that made a change in their organization. And one of the things they were really outspoken about and stood for and was very prominent, they just kind of pulled off the table for a moment. And I listened to these people talk about this and start to just like create stories like, well, why would they do that? Don't they realize how important this is? And oh my gosh, what kind of a message is that sending? And it went on and on and on with all this, again, speculation, but making up stories about why did they do this? What was wrong? And the thing is, that led to a lot of incorrect conclusions. And so what happens is that, you end up demonizing this organization without having any understanding of why they did what they did. But it's because you had to create this whole story about why they did it that it ended up, not having a happy ending. So stop making up stories in your head. If you see something happen and you don't understand why it happened, then just give grace. Just say, you know what? I don't know. I guess they had their reasons. Someday I'll know what they are. Maybe I don't. If I never do, it's none of my business anyway, right? But I don't need to talk about it to people and wonder why they did it. And because you're damaging someone's reputation, you're damaging a person's reputation, you may be damaging a corporation's, reputation by making up these stories, by creating stories about what might be. And here's the thing, when I did talk about that a long time ago, and I researched it a little bit, they said the reason we do that is because people have a need to like just close things up, to wrap things up and put a bow on them. And when you only have a little piece of information and you don't have the whole story, you can't do that. And it's frustrating. So you feel like you have to just, come on, let's figure this out. Let's figure out why they might do it. And then when you land on a story, it's like, okay, true or false, at least you wrapped it up, put a bow on it. Now you can forget about it for a few minutes till the next time you talk about it. But the bad thing about that is when we create these stories in our head, there could be a million stories along this whole line. I mean, this story is like, the virus causing the zombie apocalypse. And this end is that the day after the election, the virus totally disappears. Well, if we have to have a story, and listen, part of it is using our creativity, let's start creating stories all along the spectrum. Because guess what? If you have to land on one, land on the one in the middle, because that's more likely going to be way closer to the reality of it. But the bigger picture is if you don't have to, just give grace and let it go. Bottom line, you don't have to know everything. You don't have to have all the information as to why this thing happened. Why do you think you do? Okay, we might have this urge to wrap it all up, but why do you think that you have to know everything? Why do you think it's any of your business? So try and just let it go. Try and give grace. If you don't understand why something's happening and it's not going to affect your day to day, you have no need to understand it, then give grace and just say, I don't know what's going on, but it's none of my freaking business. Let it go. That's what's most important. So these are all the little things you can think about and think, okay, maybe I am contributing to drama and not even realizing it. And you might think, before we even started this, well, why is it so bad? Maybe do you just find the drama to be lighthearted and entertainment, like watching reality shows? Maybe it's just entertaining to you. Maybe you always thought about it in innocence. But like I said, doing a lot of these things is painting a picture of others that, whether it's accurate or not, has the potential to lead to judgment. Everybody you talk to has the potential to start judging these people based on the way you spun it. And then it just leads to destroying people's reputations. I mean, it could be as innocent as being at a party and the host of the party is walking around and being really friendly, but there's one woman there who takes his friendliness the wrong way. And next thing you know, the drama queen is telling everybody that he was hitting on her. How quickly can a person's reputation be destroyed by that kind of gossip? And how often is it unfounded gossip? There may be a situation where that happened, and this person is just a genuinely kind, compassionate, friendly human being, and it was literally no more than that, but somebody took it the wrong way, and because of the way it was spun, had the potential to destroy somebody's reputation and credibility. So our words are so powerful and have the potential to be so uplifting and so good, but also to be so destructive. So we have to guard it. We have to be careful, because even though it has that potential to destroy someone else, the negative impacts it has on you are even bigger, and you're probably not even aware of them. But if it applies to you and you just keep feeding it and feeding it, you're going to be feeding toxicity in your life. And that's never a good thing. So, bottom line, if you take nothing else away from this, take this away from it. Living in drama is directly opposite of being kind. Direct opposite. You can't do both. You can't live in both places. So the next time you're tempted to gossip about somebody, to stir the pot, to speculate, to do any of the things we just talked about, just challenge yourself to be kind instead. Do I choose kindness or do I choose drama? Because they're never going to meet on the same plane. They're totally different. So when you're choosing one, you're rejecting the other. So think about it. If you're choosing drama, you're not choosing kindness. And if we need one single thing in the world today, only one thing, we need more kindness. So with everything that's gone on politically, pandemic, it's so many things, and it doesn't end. Sean Connery, Alex Trebek, it's like, oh my gosh, is 2020 ever going to end? It's not an easy year for any of us. But the one thing we need is to be kind, because that's the only thing that's going to get us through it. It's the only thing that's going to make this world better. So when you think about all these things, if you're tempted to be dramatic, if you're tempted to choose drama, you're not choosing kindness. So just ask yourself that question. That's it, ladies. Go have a wonderful day. And I hope today that what we said sinks in a little bit, and you can just choose to be kind. Have a good one. Talk to you next week.